and momentum equation for the laminar flow. In this topic, we will understand about the momentum equation as well as the Navier-Stokes equation. It is a special form of momentum equation. So, if we want to understand about the momentum equation, we should know that there should be a conservation law. And when the momentum equation we are discussing, we used to discuss about the how unsteady state system are going to behave. What does mean by unsteady state? When the system variable or system features are dependent on the time, then it's called unsteady state. And when it is independent of time or it becomes independent of time, its features and its system variables or system state variables, then it's called steady state system. So in case of unsteady state system, you can tell that the momentum balance, if you want to discuss about that, it will be like that rate of momentum accumulation. If you take rate of momentum accumulation, it is equal to rate of momentum in means in towards the center system, and rate of momentum out means whatever the momentum rate is out, what is the rate of the momentum out of the system. And if you add certain sum of the forces on the acting on the system, and you get the actual momentum conservation of that system, and then you can formulate the momentum equation. So if you want to get the simple version, you can consider that only the x component of the each term. So that first we will derive based on the x component in x axis, x order the component. Then accordingly we will go for y and z component that can be handled in different way. So if you see the x component of a tau, if they have made up a viscous momentum fluxes, then the shear stresses you can tell. So in the figure, you can see a different side. What are the different shear stress are applied? That actually shown. That actually is shown. So not appearance of the sigma xs, which by the scheme of subscript, if you want to know the subscript, what is the tau xs, it represents the transport of a x momentum in x direction. If it's a tau xs, then transport of a x momentum in the x direction. Alternatively, if you view xs as the x directed normal stress on the x face, in contrast of tau yx, if tau in subscript the yx is there, so then we can tell that x directed shear stress on the y face. Well, if you see the first subscript is the telling the stress is normal to the which face. So that is the stress is applied to the which face. This is the y face, and x is the x directed shear stress, the direction of the shear stress. And if you see this figure is all about momentum transport, basically x component due to viscosity into the volume of the element. One volume element we have taken in the cube form, and direction of the viscous momentum transport. And if you see at the A part and B part is the direction of the stresses. Now, if you want to develop the terms so that we can understand how convective momentum enters in the unit volume, and already we told that we are discussing based on the x component of the convective momentum enters the unit volume in the figure. So based on that we can understand how the momentum across the system, it goes enter to the system and go out of the system, as well as what are the other forces acting on the system, and we are talking those things in the on the basis of x component, and later on we will go for y and z component. So if you see in this slide, that there is del y, del z, rho vx, vx and vx. One is the momentum, another is the direction of the velocity, which is the carrying the momentum. And in this way, if you see in says v rho vy and vx, and here what is the rho vy basically talks about momentum, and vx is the direction. That vx part in all three terms is there because we are discussing about the x component of the convective momentum which enters the unit volume, and this is equal to the as per this equation that rho that actually del y into del z, this is the area or the cross-sectional area of that surface, and then the momentum, rate of momentum in and rate of momentum out. In this way you can see. So now you can talk about the net force, net rate of the viscous momentum flow into the unit volume across the 6 phases, and that will be the depend upon the tau xs. If you see now, it is depending upon the tau xs, tau yx. This is the shear stress form, and this is basically viscous momentum flow. That momentum flow previously what is a convective momentum. Now we are talking about viscous momentum. Viscous momentum is depends upon the shear stress. It is the shear stress. What does mean by shear stress? The stress is resistance to the relative motion of two adjacent layer of the fluid. So in this case, the viscous momentum flow, how it is going to enter into the unit volume across the 6 phases are mathematically represented here. That we are applying the law of conservation of momentum into the x component of the momentum. So here what we are doing, we are actually basically applying the law of conservation of momentum to the x component of the momentum. Thus, if you now we can understand what are the different term is going to represent. Vx represents the x velocity, and the rate at which mass enters the system through the y surface is given by del x, del z, rho vy at the surface of y. Hence, the rate at which x enters into the y phase can be simply the product of mass flow rate and the velocity. Again, I am repeating. If you want to know how the x momentum enters into the y phase, and what will be the representation should be the product of mass flow rate as well as the velocity. And what is the mass flow rate? The del x, del z, rho vy, area into that momentum. And if you want to take the velocity, vx is the x component velocity of the represent the x velocity. So in this way, you can define each term of the expression. In many cases, the situation is like that. The forces acting on the system are those arising from the pressure or gravitational force. And since if you are putting certain pressure, if you are putting certain force on the system, then what will happen? The forces acting on the system are generally arising from the pressure as well as gravitational force. So then what will happen? There is two kind of forces we can consider generally. In x direction, those forces are del y, del z. Suppose force, if you want to calculate the accumulation of the forces, so del y, del z, and pressure at x, what is the inward pressure, and pressure is x plus del x at the outer surface. And for the gravitational force, volume, density, and the gravitational acceleration at that x component we should go for. So here we can understand rho gx, del x, del y, del z. So that gx is the component of the gravitational acceleration. Finally, the rate of accumulation of the x component, if you want to see, that will be del x, del y, del z, del dt of rho vx. In this way, you can understand the actual rate of accumulation of x momentum. Now we can summarize all those things and we can get x component of the momentum equation. If you see the x component of the momentum equation, here you can see that del t rho vx equal to minus del x of rho vx, del y rho vy del x, vx, and del z of rho vz dx. So always that vx component is there, is a x velocity component for this x component momentum equation formulation. And end of the day, that is a pressure gradient at x space del p del x, and there is a rho gx. It is also the gravitational force component. We are talking about the accumulation, this part, and this part is the viscous momentum along the x direction. Also you can understand. Then always x direction. So last subscript, if you observe properly, then you can see that last subscript is x, and x means is the x component of the viscous momentum, and the y and z component, which are obtained in similar manner, are in this way represented. If you see that thing, that these two things are represented in this way, same way. So what will happen if it is in the y direction, y component of the momentum equation? Then the vy, this velocity of this in the y direction. So y component velocity you will consider, and also here the direction of the shear stress, along which direction shear stress is working, that is y. Always subscript, later subscript will be y. And same way, in the same way, accordingly you can define the z component, the later subscript of the z component, and here the velocity of the z axis will be vz. So again I am repeating that we are talking about the momentum, rate of momentum in the system accumulation, or rate of momentum accumulation, and it is equal to rate of momentum in towards the system minus rate of momentum out of the system, and surface forces acting on the, and all the sum of the forces acting on the system. So for that, we actually initially what we have done, we have developed x component, and for that first we have taken care of the convection or convective momentum flow, and then the viscous momentum flow along the x direction or x component, and we derive s component of this equation, and then accordingly we discuss that we have discussed the z component and y component. So this is the rate of accumulation of the momentum at x direction. This is the rate of accumulation of the momentum at y component, and this is z component for the rate of accumulation of the momentum. So in this way, we are getting the momentum equation of three component: x component, y component, and z component. Now we want to represent them in a suppose differential and vector form, differential form. So how it will look like? Vector notation can reduce all this term to one equation. If you use vector notation, then all this x, y, and z three component momentum equation can be represented into a one equation, which is just as meaningful as represented in this differential from all three. The quantities rho vx, rho vy, and rho vz are the component of the mass velocity, and so you can represent it rho v. Rho v, what is the rho vx, rho vy, and rho vz? These are nothing but the component of the mass velocity rho v. These are the three component in x rho v. Rho v means that momentum. that mass component of mass velocity, that rho and v, mass velocity has in three components, suppose rho vx, rho vy and rho vz. According to the vx, vy and vz, those three are x component velocity, y component velocity and z component velocity respectively. And similarly, you can also represent gravitational acceleration g as a gx, gy and gz. This gx and gy and gz are the components of the gravitational acceleration g. So that vectorial representation of a velocity and acceleration we can do. And how we can do? So in the term of del p, del x, del p, del y and del p, del z, all are represent the pressure gradient along x space, y space and z space. So by itself, pressure is a scalar quantity, but the gradient of the pressure is a vector. Pressure is a scalar quantity, but the gradient needs directions, so it is a vector. Although pressure is a scalar quantity, you should remember the gradient of vector, gradient of pressure with respect to space is a vector quantity. And so in generally del p, so grad of p you can represent. Therefore, grad of p equal to del x of p, del y of p and del z of p. If you sum up, then you will get the grad of p, and that can be thought to be an operator. You can use that grad, the del sign, as an operator. You can use this sign as an operator. So this is the equation where you are getting the grad of p, which is actually kind of vector notation. Although pressure is a scalar quantity, but this gradient is not necessarily to be a scalar. Now this del is operator and this is represented by del x, del y and del z. Now the terms, if you see in the slide, the terms rho vx, rho vx, vy, vx, vz and vy, vj, all those terms are 9 components of the convecting momentum momentum flux, that is rho vv, which is the dyadic product of rho v and v. Means what is happening? Rho v is talking about the mass velocity and v is the component of the velocity component. And if you get the dyadic product of these things, then what you are getting? You are getting momentum, convecting momentum convecting momentum flux of in the form of rho vv. And first rho v is actually mass velocity and last v is the x component of the velocity. And then you can represent in the, this is the actual form of momentum equation in the vector node by the applied in the vector notation. If you see, now you can understand rho vv, grad p, and this is the shear stress component and this is the rho g. And what is the shear stress? Now it is normal stress here, and also you can get the shear stress component. So if you want to interpret or if you want to represent the mathematical nature of del of rho vv or del of tau, that is the shear stress in physical, it is very difficult. For sufficient understanding, if you want to, then you have to certain mathematical shorthand you have to understand. What is those? What are those? Actually, the determination of velocity distribution is very important, and it is necessary that you have to include certain expression for the various stresses in terms of velocity gradient and fluid properties, because now the stress and fluid properties and velocity, that correlation now is very important, because those correlation only give the understanding of the physical behavior and physical understanding of between the correlation between velocity gradient as well as fluid properties. So in case of Newtonian fluids, the 9 components of the tau can be represented in the following form. Those are the normal stresses. What is in the slide? You can see in this way you can represent these things. And for shear stress, the representation will be like that. So these equations are actually constitute a more general statement of Newton's law of viscosity, if you see very critically. And this is the one kind of capability of Newton's law of viscosity in this form that can be applied to the certain complex flow situation. When the fluid flows between two parallel plates, x direction, Vx is a function of y. When the y direction is the perpendicular to the plate surface. If you want to use this equation in the fluid flow between two parallel plates discussed last class, and the x direction, if the flow is flowing in the x direction, then and the y is the perpendicular to the plates, then what will you can take the Vx is a function of y. Those things already we have understood, just I am representing here. And if you see all the all the 5 components, tau xs, tau yy, tau zz, tau yz, and that xz will be 0. And then the equation will become tau yx equal to neta equal to dvx dy. This is actually a Newton's law of viscosity. If you see this equation, that actually it is the, if you talking about the flow between two the parallel plate, I just put the equation so that other things I will discuss and you should understand those, that if this 5 component of the stress, that stress component are equals to 0, and it becomes that tau yx for that fluid flow between two parallel plates, and the flow is along the direction of the x, and the y is the perpendicular of two parallel plate, then this will be the equation, and this is just looks like a equation of Newton's law of viscosity. So Newton also in the many other problem, if you see the physical simulation, that Vx is recognized as the function of both y and x. If it is a that complexities you are want to incorporate, then these things can be represented y and x. But here for that particular scenario, Vx is the only a function of y. Now we will understand about the Navier-Stokes equation. This is the certain form of momentum equation. Then you know about the continuity, and if we are talking about continuity equation for the constant density, then what will happen? Del of V is equal to 0 if we look at the vector notation. So regarding momentum equation, now if we are having constant density as well as constant neta or constant viscosity, then what will happen with the equation? You can see here that rho del V x del t plus v in the left hand side, if you can see for the x component of the Navier-Stokes equation, rho del Vx del t plus Vx del Vx del x, and Vy del Vx del y, and Vz del Vx del z. So in this operator, that differential operator rho is taken out to be the outer of that bracket. How is it possible? Because the rho means the density for the fluid is constant. Then only we can do that. Same way, the neta is taken out of this operator, second order differential, that operator you are taking out, because neta is the independent of the space. This is a constant. So the neta and rho both are constant with respect to space. So anywhere in the fluid and any part of the fluid, if you check, then the density is not going to vary, as well as the viscosity. So the fluid property, density and viscosity are constant. Then only you can write such kind of form of an equation for the momentum equation. So this is the x component of the Navier-Stokes equation. Same way, if you represent for the y and z direction, you will get y component and z component of the Navier-Stokes equation. So the bracketed terms on the left side of this equation is need certain attention. What is this? Consider a control volume. Now we have discussed about the control volume previous class. Control volume of a fluid moving in a space with no mass flow across its surface. This is what kind of observation? We know this observation is when controller moving across the space. This is called Lagrangian view or Lagrangian observation method. The change in the x momentum of the x velocity with time and position you can represent in this form. You can represent. So this is the del Vx, del Vx, del t. So this is the form of del Vx and the x component velocity gradient, velocity defines increment of the velocity, the change in the s component of its velocity with time and position you can represent by the equation. And since x component of acceleration also you can define in ax equal to like that, if you take limit del t tends to 0 and just you go for s component, the change of velocity with respect to change of time, then you can get the acceleration x component, and then this will be the acceleration. So this is the form of acceleration. This is the acceleration one if I feel it riding in the control volume of the fluid. And these also refer the time derivative of the velocity. This is a very important concept. Now I am talking about time derivative of the velocity, and it is actually dvx and dt, and d, both d are in the capital, and is known as substantial velocity, a substantial derivative. And it also known as material derivative. Somebody used to tell that material derivative, but this is a substantial derivative, means it has the space component with respect to space you are going to do the derivative, and also the time. So time and space both are incorporated in that, so it is called the substantial derivative. And if you see the in general one notation, all three substantial derivative can be represented, and now the Navier-Stokes can be in the form of this situation. So now we are getting one equation, and using the concept of substantial derivative, this is substantial derivative, and we are getting one equation form for the whole Navier-Stokes equation. Okay, now today class is over. So any doubt we can discuss now onwards.